This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Program is rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, yes. This is something. I don't know exactly what to call it. Sometimes we tend to call it the Rated R Safety Show. Anyways, how are you? I hope everything is good and grand inside of your neck of the woods as we are hanging out, doing all the fun stuff that we get to do. We are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM and Radio Big. And then we are hanging out on this lovely day with it being Friday, March the 20th, which is Freeform Friday. And in case you do not know this, it is also the first day of spring.
Spring is here, everybody, spring is here.
Let's get ready for spring!
We're going to have equal periods of sunlight and equal periods of darkness on the first day of spring.
You smell that? That's the smell of spring, and I love it.
I just love spring because it's starting to get so beautiful outside.
Okay, so that's for if you love spring, we are getting you springed up. That's for sure. So anyways, here we go. Let's talk about what's going on today. It is Freeform Friday. So what does that mean? All of the stuff that I have not told you so far for this week, this is what we get to do today. We get to play catch up in regards of everything that needs to be going on.
Everything.
And so what we will do is we will talk about this, we will talk about that, and kind of cover it all. So no main story on Friday is the way that it normally works, just for the sake of making reference to it. Additionally, we will talk about all of the stuff that we get to review this week. So we'll talk about the week in review here in just a moment. If you want to interact with the show, it's a simple process on doing so. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com to take care of everything. So once you do that, we'll move forward and, do everything that needs to be done. So with that being said, let's go ahead and give you the week in review, because it sounds like something that should be important to do right now.
Speaking to the Senate Wednesday, the Director of National Intelligence tried to explain why the White House claimed at the start of the war that Iran posed an imminent nuclear threat, when the official U.S. intel assessment states the opposite, that Iran's nuclear enrichment program was obliterated in U.S. strikes last summer.
It is not the intelligence community's responsibility to determine what is and is not an imminent threat.
President Trump's top counterterrorism advisor, Joe Kent, resigned this week over the justification for war.
The travel nightmare at airports across the country, well, it's getting worse.
Screening lines are long because of shortages of TSA employees who have not been paid because of a government funding dispute.
The war with Iran, a wave of new attacks overnight, including a deadly strike on Israel, as President Trump continued to criticize America's allies for failing to join the fight.
If you're traveling out west, you know just how hot it is there. The heat wave has shattered temperature records in dozens of cities. It was 108 degrees outside of Palm Springs, California on Wednesday, tying a record for the hottest March day anywhere in the U.S.
One battle after another. The big winner this year's Oscars, bringing home 6 golden statues, including Best Picture, the biggest prize of the night, on top of Best Supporting Actor for Sean Penn, who was absent, Best Adapted Screenplay, and Best Director for Paul Thomas Anderson.
In the US, gas prices have risen 90 cents since the start of the war, now averaging $3.84 a gallon. And for only the second time in US history, diesel prices have now hit $5 a gallon. Economists warn this will now have a ripple effect across the US economy.
Kiki Shepard, the longtime co-host of Showtime at the Apollo for 15 years. Shepard made her mark on the famed talent showcase with her signature style and sense of humor. Relatives tonight sharing that Shepard died from a heart attack on Monday. Kiki Shepard was 74.
The CEO of Delta Airlines said that airfares are going to go up due to rising fuel costs. Meanwhile, Southwest was like, in that case, we're just going to use half of our engines.
Okay, so there you go. That is the week in review. That's kind of should get you a little bit caught up in regards of anything you might have potentially missed, just so you know. So with that being the case, let's get ready to do something else. We have our friends from Feature Story News that are waiting right there in the wings saying, hey, it is good to talk about some of the stuff that is going on right now inside of the world of the multiverse. And you want to know what? I'm good with that. I'm good with having that convo. So let's do that right now as we will bring them in from Feature Story News, and they will say, hey, I will say, hey, and we'll say, hey together.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in New Delhi, I'm Ishan Kirk. South Korean stocks recovered slightly in early trading on Friday, while Hong Kong stocks fluctuated. Markets in Japan, Indonesia, Malaysia and the Philippines were closed. It comes as oil prices fell after Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's remarks that the war in Middle East would end a lot faster than people think.
Oil prices retreated as investors weighed efforts by the United States and Israel to ease concerns over the Iran war. Brent crude went down from its highest closing level since July 2022 to trade around $106 per barrel. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the nation would no longer target energy infrastructure and added that the war will end a lot faster than people think, as Iran is no longer able to enrich uranium or manufacture ballistic missiles. But investors are jittery, with oil still holding around $100 a barrel and gas surging as well amid the effective closure of the vital waterway, the Strait of Hormuz.
The White House is trying to reassure Americans as oil prices jumped to $118 a barrel on Thursday, nearly 3 weeks into the US-Israeli war with Iran. President Trump said he would do whatever was necessary to ease the crisis, but that it was temporary. The challenge is no longer just reopening the Strait of Hormuz, a choke point for 1/5 of the world's oil supply. But now the attacks and counterattacks on oil and gas production across the region have injected new uncertainty. Fiona Mee reports from Dubai.
Let's start with Qatar. The Foreign Ministry saying there was extensive damage at its main Ras Laffan gas facility, and several other LNG plants were also hit. Qatar strongly condemning the strikes, expelling Iran's military and security attaches, giving them 24 hours to leave the country. And Qatar Energy CEO has said in the last few hours that the site's accounting for about 17% of its export capacity are damaged, and it could take 3 to 5 years for them to fully repair.
President Trump says he expects Japan to step up when referring to the war in Iran as he seeks support for securing a critical shipping route in the Middle East. It comes as global markets are being hit hard with the flow of oil all but stopping through the Strait of Hormuz. Mitch McCann reports.
At the same time, President Trump appeared to contradict those comments by saying we've had tremendous support and relationship with Japan on everything. They are really stepping up to the plate. In an unusual moment, Mr. Trump was asked why he didn't coordinate with allies ahead of the war. He said the US didn't tell anyone and added, "Who knows better about surprise than Japan?" before saying, "Why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor?" Mitch McCann, New York.
European leaders gathered in the Belgian capital with the conflict in Iran and the wider region looming large over the talks. William Denslow tells us more.
We've heard from Kaja Kallas, the EU's top diplomat and foreign affairs chief. She says that she wants to see an exit and not an escalation to this growing crisis. There have been calls from the Trump administration urging allies, including many here in Europe, to do more when it comes to reopening the Strait of Hormuz. That has very much been dismissed by many European leaders here. Friedrich Merz, the German chancellor, saying essentially before any kind of involvement can be discussed, there must be a silencing of the guns. Antonio Guterres, the UN Secretary General, was here in Brussels for a meeting to discuss developments in Iran and the wider region. Speaking alongside Antonio Costa, the European Council President, Guterres had a warning to Iran, calling for them to stop attacking their neighbours. He also had a sharp message to Israel and the United States.
It's high time to end this war that is risking to get completely out of control, causing immense suffering on civilians, and with propagation around the global economy that is really dramatic.
This gathering also an opportunity for leaders to discuss the energy crisis that has emerged out of this conflict.
FSN is an independent source of news for TV, radio and digital networks worldwide. You can find more of our minute-by-minute updates on Twitter. Follow us there at Feature Story. And we have a wealth of audio and video stories from our global news bureaus on Facebook. You can find us there by following Feature Story News. Stay tuned for further updates right here. But for now, that is the latest Feature Story News. Ishan Garg reporting.
Bringing you information you never knew you cared about. Rated R Safety Show.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
You got into the safety business because you wanted to protect people, but somewhere along the way, the job started controlling your time, your schedule, your priorities, even your income potential. What if the expertise you've built over the years in the field can give you something more? More freedom, more control, more ownership of your future. I'm Sheldon Primus, the author of 7 Steps to Starting a Profitable Safety Consulting Business and the host of the Safety Consultant Podcast, with more than 350 episodes helping safety professionals become consultants and grow their career. Consulting changed my life. In fact, I'm a full-time RVer, and one consulting contract paid for my home I live in today. Now, I help safety professionals build their own consulting practice through bi-weekly coaching calls, accountability, and personal guidance. But this program isn't for everyone. Start with the Consultant Readiness Audit at sheldon.coach.
You've seen the loop. You've felt the shift. The script doesn't fit anymore, and neither do you. Safety transmission. The collapse of the construct is the third and final signal in the trilogy from J. Allen, PhD. And this time, it's not about waking up. It's about what you do once you're awake. The system didn't break. It just stopped pretending to hold you. And now it's blinking, rebranding presence, packaging resistance, and calling it progress. This book isn't a guide. It's a transmission. It doesn't teach the system how to evolve. It shows you how to stop performing for it. You'll see what happens when awareness becomes responsibility, when audits don't listen, and when leadership becomes a loop. But if you've made it this far, you're not here to be managed. You're here to carry signal. Safety transmission. The collapse of the construct. Now available in print, Kindle, and audiobook. Narrated by J. Allen, PhD. Because if it couldn't hold your signal, it was never real to begin with.
Another pitfall of our society. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, pitfalling and spitballing is kind of the way that we go about talking about all of the stuff that we do around here on the Rated R Safety Show. Okay, so with that being said, let's start getting into some of the stuff that we need to talk about. Now, this next story, we're going to have to go a little bit slow here because I want to make sure that we get every finite detail as we are talking. So Joe Kent, once the guy running counterterrorism, just walked out and then walked on Tucker Carlson's show to air it all out. He says that his trust in Donald Trump took a hit over the Iran war, claiming that the president got pulled into it under pressure tied to Israel. Kent also says that an alarm started going off when the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI, shut down his agency deeper dive into the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Officials in the investigation basically fired back. Kent had a habit of tossing out big theories with zero receipts. He's not buying the one lone gunman story either, even while admitting that he doesn't have proof of anything else, just a lot of something doesn't feel right. Then there was the dramatic twist. Kent claims that Kirk's last message to him was essential: stop the Iran war. He also says that Kirk had been pushing against the war behind the scenes and was under the pressure from the pro-Israel donors. Kent's bottom line, he quit because he says that Iran wasn't an immediate threat and the U.S. shouldn't be in the fight. Take a listen to this.
And then, Charlie Kirk is killed publicly in a very horrific way. And we're not really even allowed to look into that at all. And Charlie Kirk was one of President Trump's closest advisors, and he also advocated heavily against a war with Iran. He was in the Oval Office in the lead up to the 12-day war. And the last time I saw Charlie Kirk on this earth was in June in the West Wing, in the stairway. And I said hi to him, and he looked me in the eye, and he said very loudly, and it's a small, you've been in the West Wing, it's small, it's a tight space. And he said, Joe, stop us from getting into a war with Iran. Very loudly.
He was single-minded.
So when one of President Trump's closest advisors, who is vocally advocating for us to not go to war with Iran and for us to rethink at least our relationship with the Israelis, and then he's suddenly publicly assassinated, and we're not allowed to ask any questions about that, it's a data point.
What do you mean when you say we're not allowed to ask any questions about that?
We've been told that this individual, Robinson, is a lone gunman, and maybe he is. But the investigation that I was a part of, the National Counterterrorism Center was a part of, we were stopped from continuing to investigate. But there was still linkage for us to investigate that we needed to run down.
Okay, so there you go. That's Joe Kent talking on Tucker Carlson's show about what was happening. So what do you think here? Of course, as you are aware, controversy creates cash. There is definitely going to be some conversations about that convo, about that show, about what the hell's going on. So what do you think here? What I mean, seriously, what do you think? It's a question. It is not really a theory. It is somebody saying, hey, this is what I believe, and we are airing it here and talking about it. Interesting times.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying.
He is trying to be entertaining.
Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, take a listen to this. A U.S. F-35 Lightning II, $100 million flying computer, was hit by Iranian fire and forced into an emergency landing at a U.S. base. The jet made it down safely, the pilot stable, and now the military is digging into what exactly went wrong. The big deal, because the first confirmed time that Iran has actually hit the U.S. aircraft in this conflict. Meaning that the messaging from Donald Trump, basically nothing to see here. He told reporters that Iran's air defense has already been wiped out and claimed that nobody is shooting at the U.S. forces, which doesn't exactly line up with damaged stealth jets making an emergency landing. So what do you think? It's definitely interesting, I mean, to say the least. So, I mean, what do you think about the whole thing? Because it can't be one and the other. It could not even really be one or the other. It's kind of this happened or it didn't happen is really just kind of the bigger picture when it's all said and done. So interesting times. As we're going to stay in the political realm here for just a moment because this is how it goes. Former FBI boss James Comey just got dragged back into the spotlight, subpoenaed in a new Justice Department probe looking at whether the Obama-era officials broke the law during the whole Russia 2016 election saga. Duh. This comes as the intelligence chief, Tulsi Gabbard, is publicly claiming that Obama administration pushed a cooked up narrative about Russian interference to boost President Trump. Let's see. Same day the bomb dropped, DOJ rolled out a strike force to dig into the figure out of the next legal moves. Back to Comey. This isn't the first rodeo either. Trump administration already tried to prosecute him for allegedly lying to Congress. That case got tossed out after the judge said the prosecutor wasn't properly appointed. DOJ is still appealing that decision, so yeah, not exactly over. The new probe is reportedly being run by a Florida U.S. attorney, a Trump appointee, and it's part of a bigger pattern. DOJ has gone after several Trump critics lately, including New York AG Letitia James, and though those cases have hit legal potholes too, the same prosecutor issues. So there you go. What a weird time. Like, seriously, it's like the more you look at this, the more interesting it gets. And I don't know if I'm saying interesting in a good way or if I'm saying interesting in a bad way, because man, it's like it's an ongoing saga is what it seems like. Not sometimes, but all the time, in regards to some of the stuff that is going on. So I don't know. It's mind-boggling to me in regards to some of the stuff that is happening. So take a listen to this one. A federal arts panel now stacked with appointees from President Trump has signed off on a new 24-karat gold commemorative coin featuring, you guessed it, Trump himself. The coin tied to the America's 250th birthday and would show him leaning on a desk with a clenched fist based on the official White House portrait. A U.S. Mint officials, Trump personally approved the design, and allies are pushing to make his image as large as possible on the coin. Now, here's where it gets a little spicy. Putting a sitting president on a U.S. currency is a big break from tradition. Typically, that honor is reserved for historical figures, usually long after they're gone. One advisory panel even refused to review the proposal, calling it against American norms. Still, the Commission of Fine Arts gave the green light without objection. So what do you think? Are you waiting to get your Donald Trump commemorative coin?
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
It's just a question, man. I mean, I don't know. Are you looking forward to that or no? I don't know. So there you go. Take a listen to this because I don't understand sometimes some of the things that happen. We're just going to go into
the weird news now.
A 62-year-old woman, Rose Henderson, just got a year in prison after running one of the longest cons you'll ever hear about, collecting her dead mother's Social Security checks from 1996 to 2021. That's 25 years and about $365,000. Prosecutors called it extreme. Her defense said that she was been disabled and struggled with homelessness. The judge, not buying sympathy, called it a calculated long-term scheme in order her to pay back by garnishing future benefits. She just beat the system. She put it on auto pay. Jeez, man. $365,000, and you did that from 96 to 21. That's a long time in regards to talking about it. So there you go. Okay, so take a listen to this one. A TikTok, let's talk about this one. A TikTok user, she cracked open an energy drink and accidentally took a swig before realizing there was a dead mouse inside of it. She claimed that the experience messed her up so badly that she's now dealing with PTSD and has started an EDMR therapy, a treatment that helps process trauma without reliving it like a horror movie in a loop. She says that it affected her ability to work, focus, and basic functions of people online are split, horrified, and skeptical. Take a listen to this.
And this is life after drinking a dead animal in my drink. So I want to address some of the comments because the video went stupid viral and it got 1.2 million views as of right now. And now the world knows that I'm the girl that drank a dead mouse. And now the world knows also to don't drink out of cans. And if you do, pour that out. And if you do, then get a straw. Me personally, I don't do none of that. My eating has changed dramatically. I've been hanging on to eating so bad because I don't want to let it go. But I hate food now. I hate everything. I hate food. I hate drinks. I used to love eating. I used to take me out to eat. Now when I look at the food or gotta cook the food, such a strain.
Okay. Well, I mean, I would imagine just the straight up cluster that would have to cause in your brain once you accidentally, quote unquote, drank a rat inside of an energy drink. Now, here's my question. You know that if you like take a piece of bologna and you put it inside of a Coca-Cola, it normally can dissolve it as long as you move the little red liner. So is this not the case of what happens with a rat? How the hell did you know that there was a rat in there? That's number one. Number two, when you cook food, it's causing an issue. So, do you remember many, many, many moons ago, there was this little recall that occurred? I think it was mostly for applesauce for kids, where they didn't have clear packaging, and some of the applesauce had went bad, and little kids were eating bad applesauce. So then they kind of put this line inside of the packaging so you could see if it was like corroded or if anything was corrupt inside of there. Do you think that this will eventually be what will happen with cans? Because if you look at an energy drink, at least most of them seem to be clear in regards of with the content that's inside of it. So I think it'll become one of those interesting things if they decide to change that up. And when I say if they would be the people that make the product, not me, because, you know, there is no magical they, as a lot of people do.
The magical.
The magical
they.
So there you go. Okay, so let's talk about some other stuff because that's what we do around here. The country offers residents $29,000 to give up their driver's license for 5 years. No, you heard me. I didn't stutter. Malta is basically saying we'll pay you to stay off the road. The country is tiny packed and traffic is choked. Is offering $25,000 or about $28,000 is really what it is to young drivers who agree to give up their license for 5 years. The plan purchased by Transportation Ministry Chris Burnett is to hit younger drivers early before a car dependency becomes a lifestyle. Think about the mobility reset with a paycheck attached, and here's how it works. you're 30 years of age or under, lived there for at least 7 years, and have a clean driving record, you hand over your license and you get the $28,000. It's $28,000 total, so they divided that up into 5, and you get it a year, 4 or 5 years. So there you go. It's going to be a little over $5,000 a year. Cave early, you have some of it back. After 5 years, you don't just get your license back. You basically get a re-earn it with a lesson. They capped it at 1,000 people a year. That's about a $5 million budget. And surprised that people are lining up. Turns out that a lot of folks are willing to trade road rage for a steady paycheck. Question, how much money would it take for you to give up your driver's license for 5 years? I mean, think about that. That's 5 years. It's not like it's a drop in the bucket in regards to what's going on. So there you go. So what else do we got? We got some other stuff around here. Do we want to talk? Let's talk about the possum. Yeah, let's talk about the possum. At Hobart Airport in Australia, workers found a very relaxed stowaway, a live possum. Yeah, not a joke. Duh. It curled up into a store shelf, snuggling with a stuffed animal like it had just been a boarding pass. And now to be there, the little guy looked completely at home until he decided that to go sightseeing. He climbed down and started wandering the airport, turning passengers into the paparazzi as everyone pulled out their phones and started jumping into action. Not exactly TSA level urgency, but was politely escorted out of the Fuzzies Go. Eventually, the possum was safely guided back outside with no drama. I mean, think about that. You're hanging out in the airport, and all of a sudden you just see a possum hanging out. Would kind of get kind of strange right away. No doubt there, I would imagine. Okay, take a listen to this one, and then we'll move on real quick. A 40-year-old guy went full wrecking ball. And let's see, in a place in Seattle, the Chaluli Garden and Glass, smashing delicate glass sculptures and racking up over $240,000 in damages. Yeah, not exactly finger painting. Police say that he got into a restricted area and started destroying the signature glass plants. Then, with eventually security stepped in and things escalated, he allegedly threw shards at a guard and even tried to stab him with a piece of broken glass. The guard backed off until the cops showed up. Officers rolled in, found the place looking shattered like a kaleidoscope, and then took the guy into custody. After he resisted, he's now facing burglary, assault, malicious mischief charges, sitting on $100,000 bail, and banned from going anywhere near a museum. For context, the museum showcased the work of glass artist Dale Chaluli. Intricate, colorful pieces don't exactly bounce back after they hit the ground, if you know what I'm saying there. So there you go, some things to talk about. Anyways, 32 minutes past the top of the hour. If this was not Freeform Friday, we would definitely be doing our main news story, but that's not the case.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in New Delhi, I'm Ishan Kirk. South Korean stocks recovered slightly in early trading on Friday, while Hong Kong stocks fluctuated. Markets in Japan, Indonesia, Malaysia and the Philippines were closed. It comes as oil prices fell after Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's remarks that the war in Middle East would end a lot faster than people think.
Oil prices retreated as investors weighed efforts by the United States and Israel to ease concerns over the Iran war. Brent crude went down from its highest closing level since July 2022 to trade around $106 per barrel. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the nation would no longer target energy infrastructure and added that the war will end a lot faster than people think, as Iran is no longer able to enrich uranium or manufacture ballistic missiles. But investors are jittery, with oil still holding around $100 a barrel and gas surging as well amid the effective closure of the vital waterway, the Strait of Hormuz.
The White House is trying to reassure Americans as oil prices jumped to $118 a barrel on Thursday, nearly 3 weeks into the US-Israeli war with Iran. President Trump said he would do whatever was necessary to ease the crisis, but that it was temporary. The challenge is no longer just reopening the Strait of Hormuz, a choke point for 1/5 of the world's oil supply, but now the attacks and counterattacks on oil and gas production across the region have injected new uncertainty. Fiona Mee reports from Dubai.
Let's start with Qatar. The foreign ministry saying there was extensive damage at its main Ras Laffan gas facility, and several other LNG plants were also hit. Qatar strongly condemning the strikes, expelling Iran's military and security attaches, giving them 24 hours to leave the country. And Qatar Energy CEO has said in the last few hours that the site's accounting for about 17% of its export capacity are damaged, and it could take 3 to 5 years for them to fully repair.
President Trump says he expects Japan to step up when referring to the war in Iran as he seeks support for securing a critical shipping route in the Middle East. It comes as global markets are being hit hard with the flow of oil all but stopping through the Strait of Hormuz. Mitch McCann reports.
At the same time, President Trump appeared to contradict those comments by saying we've had tremendous support and relationship with Japan on everything. They are really stepping up to the plate. In an unusual moment, Mr. Trump was asked why he didn't coordinate with allies ahead of the war. He said the US didn't tell anyone and added, who knows better about surprise than Japan, before saying, why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor? Mitch McCann, New York.
European leaders gathered in the Belgian capital with the conflict in Iran and the wider region looming large over the talks. William Denslow tells us more.
We've heard from Kaja Kallas, the EU's top diplomat and foreign affairs chief. She says that she wants to see an exit and not an escalation to this growing crisis. There have been calls from the Trump administration urging allies, including many here in Europe, to do more when it comes to reopening the Strait of Hormuz. That has very much been dismissed by many European leaders here. Friedrich Merz, the German Chancellor, saying essentially before any kind of involvement can be discussed, there must be a silencing of the guns. Antonio Guterres, the UN Secretary General, was here in Brussels for a meeting to discuss developments in Iran and the wider region. Speaking alongside Antonio Costa, the European Council President, Guterres had a warning to Iran, calling for them to stop attacking their neighbours. He also had a sharp message to Israel and the United States.
It's high time to end this war that is risking to get completely out of control, causing immense suffering on civilians, and with propagation around the global economy that is really dramatic.
This gathering also an opportunity for leaders to discuss the energy crisis that has emerged out of this conflict.
FSN is an independent source of news for TV, radio and digital networks worldwide. You can find more of our minute-by-minute updates on Twitter. Follow us there at Feature Story. And we have a wealth of audio and video stories from our global news bureaus on Facebook. You can find us there by following Feature Story News. Stay tuned for further updates right here. But for now, that is the latest Feature Story News. Ishan Garg reporting.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
You ever hit the wall, burnout, stressed, or just feeling that everything is piling up and thought, yeah, I probably need to talk to someone? The problem is finding the therapist who actually takes your insurance feels impossible at times. That's where Rula comes in. Rula is a healthcare company that makes mental health care easy to access and actually affordable. They partner with over 100 insurance plans, so the average copay is about $15 a session, sometimes even less. With Rula, you get matched with the right therapist for you, not just whoever's available. Their network has over 15,000 licensed professionals, and you can book an appointment as soon as tomorrow. No wait list, no frustrations, just therapy that works with your schedule and your insurance. Thousands of people are already using Rula to get affordable, high-quality therapy that actually covered by insurance. Visit Rula.com/safetyfm to get started. After you sign up, you'll be asked how you heard about them. Please support our show and let them know that we sent you there. That's RULA.com/safetyfm. You deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget. Go to Rula.com RULA.com/SafetyFM right now to get started. That's RULA.com/SafetyFM, because you deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Embrace a daily boost of nature with Field of Greens. Discover the simple power of one scoop to elevate your well-being. Enjoy the flavor that appeals to you the most, and let the blend of organic fruits and vegetables enhance your life. Experience the following benefits with Fields of Greens. Noticeable energy increase to power you throughout the day. Improved quality of sleep. Enhanced digestive comfort and a general uplift in your wellness. Field of Greens stands out with the selection of organically grown ingredients, each carefully picked for its benefits to your heart and overall health. We are confident that you'll appreciate the benefits of Field of Greens. If it doesn't meet your expectations, we offer a straightforward money-back guarantee. Jumpstart your health journey with a special offer. 15% off your first purchase plus complimentary expedited shipping. Just visit fieldofgreens.com and use the code SAFETYFM to redeem your discount. That's SAFETYFM at fieldofgreens.com. Experience nature's touch at fieldofgreens.com/SafetyFM. And don't forget to tell them that Jay Allen sent you.
Radio Big. Streaming 24/7 at radiobig.fm.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with home title lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it. Now he or she is on the deed of your home, and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the person takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home Title Locks puts a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com.
What if everything we thought we knew about safety was just interference? From the host of the Rated R Safety Show and the founder of Safety FM comes the complete signal transmission trilogy, now available in one powerful edition. Safety, in my opinion, the book that started the conversation. Safety Mutation, where the boundaries of culture, systems, and belief begin to break. And now, Safety Transmission, the final piece of the signal. For the first time, all three books are together in one volume. The Signal Transmission Trilogy, Complete Edition. This isn't just about compliance. It's about consciousness. It's about decoding the way we think, lead, and live, inside and outside the system. Whether you've been following the signal since the beginning or you're just now tuning in, this is the version to own. Search Signal Trilogy on Amazon or visit safetyfm.com to get your copy now.
Tearing the ass out of you like gas station sushi.
Okay. 44 minutes past the top of the hour. And we are still hanging out here on the Rated R Safety Show. Don't worry about that, because that's what we do around here. All kinds of fun stuff. Talking about what the hell is going on inside of the world of the multiverse. That's just kind of what we do. Okay, so this right here that's playing, don't worry, you're not going to be able to find it anywhere because I made it here. Haven't released it anywhere either. This one's called Let It Be Caught. So a lot of stuff going on here inside of the world of the multiverse, but that's okay, not a big deal. We can talk a little bit more about some of the things that are going on. But if anything, let me tell you about the most important thing that I will tell you in my lifetime, and that is about my friends at To Write Love on Our Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help. And we want you to know that people have been where you are now and that healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com and click on the section that says Find Help. Once you get there, you'll see information related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, self-injury, suicide, and trauma. I'm going to tell you all the information that's there will change things for you if you allow it to do so. All you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com to write love on her arm. So there you go. Okay, let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the multiverse of ours, because that's kind of what we do. No doubt there. So you are aware, and if you're not aware, let's talk about it, because maybe this is going to be the portion where we get to talk about some things here. We have an event coming up here in a little over a week at this point, going on in Santa Fe, New Mexico. We got the Conklin Workshop taking place in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Will be happening with Todd Conklin, Redonda Voigt, Ann Liren, and Brett Sutton. They will be looking at an incident that took place through the lens of HOP. And then we'll be looking at some tools that were developed by Brett Sutton. And then, of course, the story will be by Redonda Voigt, that she experienced firsthand. And then we will have Ann Liren there hosting in regards to what is going on. That's happening March the 31st through April the 1st. We'd love to see you there in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Like I said, in about a week or so. A little over a week at this point, taking place. It'll be a good time to go out there, hang out, and take a look around and see what's going on and understanding on how to look at these incidents. If you want more information, all you have to do is go to safetyfm.com and click on the section that says Live Events. Once you get there, all of the info will be readily available for you, and it'll get you moving and grooving. Or if not, you can just scan the QR code that's right there on the screen. Also, if you can't make it to that one, we have an event coming up this summer on July the 13th, which is a Monday in Orlando, Florida. Oh, yes, good times there. Duh. This one will be taking place at a movie theater, so we're going to try something slightly different here. We'll be doing an observational symposium. People go, well, what does that mean? Well, we're going to have some interactions there in regards of people talking about different aspects. You'll have someone like Nick Weatherly there talking about behavior-based safety. You'll have Todd Conklin talking about human and organizational performance. I will be there talking about signal. And so we'll be having those conversations in regards of what's going on. The other side of the equation is that we'll also have a movie that we'll watch part of while we're there. And that's not a joke as I say that. So would love to see you there. And it is happening on a Monday, which people have asked questions about that. Is it really on a Monday? Yes. That way, if you want to come down to Orlando and hang out over the weekend, you have the opportunity to do so. So there you go. All you have to do is scan the QR code or go to the website, safetyfm.com, and click on the section that says live events. That will change everything for you once you get there, of course. So with that being said, I have to reference this, of course. I do have somebody waiting in the wings that wants to talk to you. And that guy's name, well, his name is John Small. And you know what he likes to talk about? Things that motivate people. So why don't we just bring him in right now for the Motivation Minute.
Courtesy of JaceCaseMedical.com. Today's quote was submitted by Bruce. Larry Page said, "If you're not doing some things that are crazy, then you're doing the wrong things." I think it's good to do some crazy things from time to time. I'm helping with a parade for the very first time in my life. I've been to parades, a bunch of them, but I've never even thought about what it takes to host a parade. Take a quick guess at how much it costs to put on a parade. I would have never guessed this much. Now, every community is going to be a little different, but here, it's $10,000 to $15,000. Yeah, to let people drive down a street and wave at people who are standing on the side of the road. I do that every day for free. Here's where the expenses are: roadblocks, insurance, and security. To rent the roadblocks is $8,000 to $10,000. So our group is doing something crazy. We're buying roadblocks, and now we're going to rent them to other people who do parades too.
The Motivation Minute.
This has been the Motivation Minute. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
On the Rated R Safety Show.
Iran has launched a fresh wave of missile and drone attacks on energy facilities in Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates, sharply escalating fighting in the Gulf region.
Iranian forces struck Qatar's massive Ras Laffan liquefied natural gas terminal, which is one of the largest LNG export hubs in the world. Fires and significant secondary damage were reported, and Qatar's energy ministry said production had already been halted there due to earlier strikes. Benjamin Wright reporting.
Israel has also carried out a major airstrike on Iran's Pars gas field, a key natural gas hub shared with Qatar.
That strike triggered vows from Iran to retaliate against oil and gas targets throughout the Gulf, and Iran has since attacked energy sites in at least 3 Gulf states. Regional governments have scrambled to step up missile defenses and secure their refineries, while oil and gas prices have surged on global markets. Gary Beck reporting.
Intensifying strikes on Gulf energy sites have sent oil and gas prices sharply higher and sparked fresh warnings about the impact on the global economy.
Crude oil briefly pushed above $118 a barrel, while European natural gas benchmarks jumped as markets worried about prolonged supply cuts. Analysts say household heating and electricity bills could rise in many countries if the conflict drags on, and key export terminals remain offline. Liam White reporting.
This is the latest news headlines.
In Washington, top U.S. intelligence officials are testifying before Congress as lawmakers press for details on how and why action against Iran was launched.
Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard, CIA Chief John Ratcliffe, and other senior officials are describing the emerging threat picture behind the conflict in closed and open sessions. Democratic lawmakers are demanding clearer evidence that Iran posed an imminent danger to the United States before the war began. Lawrence Keller reporting.
The White House has announced it will seek billions of dollars in wartime funding.
President Trump has asked Congress to approve a multi-billion-dollar package to cover the cost of military operations in the region. Senate leaders say they are not ready to approve the full request without a fuller accounting of how the money will be spent and what the war strategy is. Kyle Norris reporting.
Severe storms have rolled across several Midwestern and southern states, knocking out power for tens of thousands of homes and businesses.
Strong winds and heavy rain have downed trees and power lines in parts of Missouri, Illinois, and Indiana, while flood watches remain in effect for river valleys in several states. Local officials have urged residents to avoid flooded roads and to stay away from downed electrical wires. Jessica Oakley reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big.
Okay, so there you go. Some infiltration in Radio Big. Let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. Back in 1969, Beatle John Lennon marries Yoko Ono. In 1969 as well, on this date, U.S. President Nixon proclaims that he will end the Vietnam War. In 1970. In 1990, Los Angeles Lakers retire Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's number 33. Also in 1990, singer Gloria Estefan breaks her collarbone in a bus accident. 1991, Peggy Lee, Court awards Peggy Lee $3 million in a contract violation suit against Disney. In 1991, Michael Jackson signed a $65 million deal with Sony for his next 6 albums. So there you go. Those are all events that happened back on this date based on the year that I told you. Let's talk about some celebrity birthdays going on today. Bobby Orr turned 78. Holly Hunter turned 68. Kathy Ireland turned 63. And Michael Rappaport turned 56 today. So there you go. Let's talk real quick about some things that you ought to know. And we'll talk about this because people like this. NASCAR, the Goodyear 400 NASCAR race airs Sunday at 3 p.m. on FS1 from Darlington Raceway. Also, the president is talking tough, but not committing to boots on the ground. Donald Trump said that he's not planning to send U.S. troops into Iran, shutting down the idea, at least for now. At the same time, he left the door wide open with the classic, "We'll do whatever is necessary." So there you go. Also, tonight's Mega Million jackpot is for $50 million. Tomorrow's Powerball jackpot is for $120 million. The U.S. just broke out a piece of a very new heavy hardware. American forces reportedly used the GBU-72 bunker buster for the first time ever in combat, dropping on the hardened Iranian missile sites near the Strait. So there you go.
Duh.
United States Central Command didn't name the bomb outright, but confirmed that it hit targets with multiple 5,000 pounds deep penetrator munitions. Translation, there are things that are built to smash through fortified underground sites before detonating. A retired Air Force general connected the dots and said that the munition were the GBU-72, basically the newer, slightly smaller cousin of the U.S. biggest bunker buster. So there you go. Bunker bustering is what it sounds like.
Duh.
Is what we're talking about here. So what do you think? What do you think about the whole thing? I'm just kind of curious. Because it makes it very interesting as we are talking. Anyways, this is pretty much going to sum up our time together. At the top of the hour, I am going to be going over to radiobig.fm. Would love to see you over there if you want to come and hang out with me for the next couple hours or so. We'll be talking about the world of music and entertainment, and we only do that on radiobig.fm. This hour right here is the Rated R Safety Show. We refer to it also as hour numero uno of the Jay Allen in the Morning Show. So with that being said, if you don't want to go over to Radio Big, that's okay. You can hang out here with the likes of Sheldon Primus, as he will be talking about the world of safety consulting. Yeah, because that's what he does. As you heard earlier, he has over 350 episodes that he's done. So there you go. So with that being said, let me leave you with some words of wisdom for today if I can. Make sure your worst enemy doesn't live between your own ears. Yeah. That's something to think about. And if I can give you some advice for today, use white vinegar to brighten your windows. Mix 2 tablespoons of white vinegar with a gallon of water and dispense it into a used spray bottle. Squirt on and wipe away with a clean microfiber cloth, not paper towels, which can cause streaking. And there you go. That can change everything for you. It can change the outcome
of life.
Okay, so that's it. Enjoy. I hope you enjoyed our Freeform Friday. I hope to see you on the other side. If not, hang out here with the likes of Sheldon Primus. I know who you are. You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye. Maybe goodbye? Maybe?
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and/or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios. as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.
Inside of me.